Hey y'all, it's Amanda and this is my Texas Zone 8 garden, and we are expecting our first freeze of the season. So today Jeff and I are going to be setting up a few different elements to save some of my plants during this freeze. Okay, so we typically experience our first freeze about mid-November. We're a couple of weeks late, and truthfully, right after the freeze, we're gonna go right back to being warm. But I do have a few plants, including my Meyer lemon tree and my Eugenia topiaries, that cannot handle a freeze. So I want to go ahead and get a greenhouse set up for them. I use just a basic portable greenhouse that I got on Amazon. I'll make sure it's linked in my Amazon storefront, which will be linked in the video description. And I keep it very basic because I don't need a greenhouse all year long. I typically use one basically starting December into the end of February, beginning of March. It works really well for plants like what I'm about to do with the Meyer lemon and the topiaries, but it also works really well when I am growing seedlings over the winter and I need to start pardoning them off outside. Being able to bring them out into the greenhouse works brilliantly. I also utilize this really inexpensive Amazon greenhouse because it's cheap and budget friendly and it works for me. So I don't have this big beautiful setup. It is a big plastic ugly green setup, but it works wonders and it does great for me. So in the area where I'm sitting right now is where we're going to place it. It is going to be slightly obscuring the shade garden, but I think that's fine. This area is one of the lower parts of our backyard. It has a drain over here, which is super helpful as well. It gets consistent shade throughout the day. The sun just happens to be perfectly right behind my maple tree over here. And I think this is going to be a good space. I was originally thinking of doing it between the two urns those vintage urns that I have in the backyard, but I would have to look at that all winter between these beautiful vintage urns, this big plastic ugly green greenhouse, and I really don't want to do that. I also feel that in this location, with the fence here, shade garden, entrance here, house here, it's very well protected from wind, which I think is going to help with it as well. We should be able to anchor down really well in this area. So Jeff and I, we built this together last year, or actually this early spring, late winter, early spring this year. I doubt that we saved the instructions. We didn't save those, right? Okay, we did not save the instructions. But surely between all of the degrees that we have and all of the education we have, we should be able to put this together. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we did it. Yay, Jeff. We definitely had to go in and reference the video from last year. I wanted to remind you all that we put in big stakes along the base to hold it in place. It will not make it if you don't stake this guy in. And not little stakes. These are big old honking stakes. In here holding it down, we've got 7 holding it down. So the next thing we need to do is we're gonna go ahead and put in the shelving. I really actually don't care about putting the shelving in, but we'll go ahead and put it in for now. And then I think from there we'll go ahead and I guess we'll go ahead and put the cover on. And then from there, I guess we'll, probably tomorrow, because my back is killing me, we'll put in the plants. We'll go ahead and get those tucked in there. Okay, we're gonna stop from now for the night. We did not put the shelves in. We don't need them right now, and that will give me extra places to kind of tuck in additional pots if I want. We are going to end up putting containers and rocks around the edges. That worked really well last year, and we did end up staking. You could see the existing hole right there. We did end up staking these edges, but we'll do that once we get the plants in, which is going to be a little hard because of where we situated this, but it's going to be fine. Between the two of us, we should be fine. The only really heavy one is the lemon one. All right, sweet. Okay, it is actually the next day, and the next thing I'm going to be doing is setting up for a hoop house, and I have like a set that I got on Amazon a year, 2 years ago, a little while ago now at this point, and it breaks down every year, and we're going to cover this area because this area right here is ranunculus, and ranunculus cannot freeze. If they freeze, they die. And so typically what I like to do is I've got him in this raised bed. Last year I had him in a raised bed over there. This year I want to put it where I can observe them more easily. You can see they've grown bonkers since I planted them. They're absolutely lush and beautiful. Super excited about the potential, but definitely will need to protect them during cold weather. Now, this hoop house and any frost cloth is really only going to buy me a couple of degrees in temperature. So basically, just be really gentle with this because it can pop sometimes. And I don't need the hoop house to be super tall, just enough that I can like secure cloth over the top. So we'll start in this corner too. And the hoop house will buy me only a couple of degrees. So if I'm going to get some really prolonged freezing temperatures, I'm going to have to also come in and lay frost cloth inside the hoop house on top of the ranunculus. So I wanted to make sure I was super clear about that with y'all, that it's not just as simple as sticking this hoop house up and then being done with it. And you can see this is Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and it is 80 degrees outside. Okay, this is just for a little extra support. Okay. All right, let me grab the frost cloth and go ahead and put that on top. Okay, so I've got just your basic frost cloth here, and it is folded multiple times. And I am going to put it over, but it's got little clippies to hold it in place. But I did want to make sure I pointed out that I'm going to leave the ends open until tomorrow night when we will have the actual freeze, because we don't want it to get really hot in there because ranunculus don't like hot weather. Okay, so I've got some garden stakes, and I just like to come down to the side of the frost cloth along the edge, and I poke straight through the frost cloth. Like I said, the sides are open right now, but when it starts getting cold, I'll pin them down so that the breeze can't go into the tunnel. And then anytime it's just, regular temps, not freezing, I will, oh goodness gracious, I will open the sides up during the winter. And just a reminder, I have drip lines in here I do run my drip lines before any freezes because a dry plant is definitely not going to make it through. Dry roots are definitely not going to make it through a freeze. Moist roots will be warmer. Okay, the next thing I need to do is harvest loofah. And at this point, we just need to harvest all the loofah because anything that gets out here frozen isn't going to make it. Some of them are dry, some of them are partway dry. So we will try to dry out the ones that aren't currently dried. See how they do. But I definitely had a lot that have done really well. And I'm shocked at how many loofah I ended up having. It's a little insane. I think I might have to get a ladder for some of these ones up higher. Okay, I'd forgotten what that looked like. Not covered in vines, that's exciting. All right, so I'll definitely be setting these up for drying inside. I'm not going to do that in this video, but I'll bring them all inside. And all of these guys, these birdhouse gourds, they've been outside for over a week now, hanging and drying. They are so light now. Like, it is amazing how light they are now. And they've done really well drying out here. I'm so impressed. So I'm going to be hanging them inside as well because I think hanging works really well for them. And these are going to be really fun for decor next fall. Okay, so I also want to bring some flowers over for my mother-in-law. She's hosting for Thanksgiving, and a lot of these flowers won't make it through the freeze. So now it's a good time. Now, I missed a lot of the window for my heirloom chrysanthemums because I was so sick. And it just didn't come out here during that time. Just kind of is what it is. But we'll harvest some of those as well. Although those can handle a light freeze, they'll be okay. Last year I got a really early freeze and I covered them up and they didn't have any issues. They were fine. What I'm harvesting right here are Lisianthus from all those seedlings that I started. I ended up getting blooms. Isn't that insane? So that was a nice, happy surprise. Can't believe I'm going to have this whole bed of Lisianthus next year. Be really fun come July when they all start blooming. Here's all the Lisianthus. Really pretty. This black pearl one is gorgeous. Okay, and then right here are some more heirloom chrysanthemums. And these aren't fully opened yet. We'll go ahead and harvest them. This particular one is called Saint Tropez. Okay, and that variety, Saint Tropez heirloom chrysanthemum. Very pretty. All right, I have a bunch of basil over here, and all of this basil will be gone after the freeze. Basil does not like cold weather. I'm actually super lucky to have it this far into the fall and winter. Try to harvest all the basil that had purple tones in it because I think it'll go really well for some fall color. Okay, I also have a few snapdragons coming up. And these I planted in early fall. And snapdragons love cooler weather. There's a few snapdragons. Okay, I do want to appreciate these urns because these petunias will be gone. After the freeze, the coleus will be gone. Now, these violas should hang on, and the ornamental cabbage and kale will hang on, but petunias will be gone. This one over here. I'm going to be changing these out for the winter. I've got some giant, oh God, look how good these petunias are. They're getting ready to bloom again. I've got some giant snowman topiaries that are going to go in here, which will be really fun. But these urns were just glorious. I'm so glad I planted them up and listened to you all because they have brought me a lot of joy. Okay, so here's a bunch of the heirloom mums. You can see a lot of them are just goners at this point, but there are still some that are salvageable. So I'm just going to come in and harvest some. We're not going to harvest everything. This is just, it's a lot. I was sick and I just couldn't get to it. Sometimes that happens. Okay, there's still a good amount of beautiful ones left. Feeling really good about that. And I'll make a pretty arrangement for my mother-in-law. So I know it looks like there's just a whole lot of blooms left, but a lot of them are older and not in good shape because I did not keep up with the harvesting. The time that they needed to be harvested was when I was really sick and struggling, and just is what it is. I did get a couple of batches prior. Hold on, I see a few more pretty ones in here. That one's beautiful. All right. Truthfully, this is enough for arrangement for my mom and my mother-in-law. But my mother-in-law is hosting, so we'll do one for her. But I feel pretty good about what I've gotten done. It's not a hard freeze, so I'm not like scared or nervous of losing a bunch of stuff. This is just the beginning preparations, and as freezes continue to come through, most of this preparation is already done, and we're moving on. So, which works really, really well. I still need to get Jeff to help me bring in the other pots, and so I'll probably tack that on to the end of this video because my guess is it's going to be tomorrow morning that we're going to do that, and I'll just do it, and I'll close the whole thing up so you can kind of see what it looks like. But yeah, it was good. Harvesting was a really big deal, and then going through and making sure that I got the greenhouse up and got the ranunculus covered. I'm in good shape. All right, y'all, let me know what you're doing to prepare for freezes in your area, or if you don't do anything. I only do things for the things that don't do well in the freezes, like the ranunculus, the lemon tree, the eugenia topiary. Those are the only ones that I really do anything for. Harvesting any last fruits or vegetables or flowers, just so that we're in good shape for those. As always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Every time you like and comment, it helps grow the channel so much. And if you don't feel comfortable leaving a comment, just drop me an emoji below letting me know that you made it to the end of the video and that you say hi. Got a spider on me. And be sure to check me out on my social media outlets, including Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. As always, she's a mad gardener. or a decorator or anything else that she likes to be. Thanks, y'all.